Well, pay Jason for me.
Either he wants to say something or eat something, one of the two.
Take the opportunity to put our musical interests.
Acting, dancing, and now singing a Grammy with Lord
After those movies, and particularly Night Shift and Gung Ho.
Really? Never knew that.
Okay, it's that time of the year again, and here we are at Kemper Center's Haunted House, presented by the Teen Task Force, and I'm with your names.
Will Warwick.
Tanya Woods.
And Tanya, what's your role in the Haunted House?
I am the new advisor for the Haunted House.
Maybe for those who don't know about the Teen Task Force, what is it?
So the Teen Task Force is basically a group of individuals that have dedicated their life to being drug and alcohol free. We go out and we do different community service projects to give back to the community, and Haunted House just happens to be one of our biggest community service projects.
Excellent. How many kids are involved in this?
Roughly around 21 at this time. Mm-hmm.
And well, what's your role in the Haunted House?
Her sidekick, whatever she needs, her sidekick, whatever she needs, I'll take care of.
Well, I was in there, and there's a lot that goes behind the scenes. How long have you been doing this?
I've been doing this about 9 years.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Obviously, you like it. Is that or you wouldn't be coming back?
Yeah, I love to see kids stay out of trouble, and just when they're here, I know they're staying out of trouble, and I know this is something fun that they like to do. So yeah, I love it.
What do you get out of it?
Satisfaction seeing kids out of trouble and seeing them grow and be productive members of society.
Back, what are the grade ranges? Is it all high school kids?
No, we have some middle schoolers, so 12 to 17. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we are at the Kemper Haunted House again, and I'm with your name?
Anthony McLean.
Is this your first year at the Kemper Haunted House?
No, I've actually been here. This is my second year.
And do you like it?
Yeah, it's really fun.
Why should someone join the Teen Task Force?
Because you get to meet a lot of new people, and it's like if you.
Now, and are you a certain character? Or?
No, I'm a patient.
You're a patient.
Yeah, I'm a patient.
All right. Well, and what school do you go to?
I go to Lincoln Middle School.
House, and I'm with your name?
Miranda.
Miranda, nice to see you today. What role do you have in the Kemper Haunted House?
I'm a child in the 7th room for the clown.
Oh, okay, great. I was walking through there. Your room is actually really neat with a lot of balloons and stuff like that.
Yes.
Did you design the room?
Yes.
Really? Okay. Is this your first year?
No, it's my 3rd year.
3rd year. Okay. And what school do you go to?
I go to ITA, Indian Trail.
Very nice, very nice. I did see you putting on or doing some makeup on the other actors as well. So you're a makeup artist as well?
Yes.
Very good. Do you like that better than being the actual thing? It's very creative.
Yeah.
Did somebody teach you to do that, or?
Yeah, I usually do it with my sisters.
Why should someone be involved in the Teen Task Force?
It's a fun thing to do. You get new friends, and it's like gives you something to do.
And why should someone come out to the haunted house?
It's scary, and it'll give you a lot of fun. It's a cool thing to do or go to, and there's a lot of things you can see.
What's your name?
Anthony.
Now, is this your first year doing the haunted house?
Yes, this is my first year.
Okay. How'd you find out about it?
I found out from my friend Miranda from last year, and I've been here ever since.
Why should someone be involved in the Teen Task Force?
Because it's a lot of fun, and you get to meet new people, and you get to do stuff like this, and I'd recommend it.
And the makeup, did Miranda do the makeup as well for you?
No, my friend Aubrey did that.
Aubrey, okay, great. And what school do you go to?
I go to Indian Trail High School and Academy.
Well, we thank you so much for your participation here at the Kemper Haunted House, and thank you so much for talking with us today. Okay, welcome back to our Halloween special, and it would not be complete every year when we have the one and only Dr. Destruction.
Thank you. It's great to be on here every year. It's become a new Halloween tradition.
There you go. There you go. Great. Nice to see you again. Dr. Destruction, and we'll just go right out of the gate with the Jerry Smith's Pumpkin Farm. How's it been going this year?
Well, it's been a tough year with the rain and all on the weekend, but when it isn't raining, we give it our all, and sometimes we stick it out through the rain for the people that do come out. But yeah, it's been a real bad year for farmers, probably one of the worst in years. I mean, in like 78 years, the worst.
Your haunted was the Haunted Maze, Haunted
The
Bus?
Haunted Manor is
Haunted
it's now the
Manor.
Haunted Manor. It's been, and a museum. It has a museum-like quality.
Really?
And then the tension builds until you end up in the clown trailer, and there's usually a lot of chaos in there.
That's really neat because did it just start out as a haunted bus and you went around town? And
It started out as a haunted bus when I came to Jerry Smith's, and so I haunted their bus. I quickly bought a bus and then drove it on the road and took the tour on the road.
Right.
And then that one retired at the farm. And then in 2007, I did it again. And I made another bus that toured, and that's retired at the farm now. So there's 3 buses now.
Let's talk about the Dorian Gray Art Show. Is that past coming up?
That's every year. That's an annual event. And that's based on the picture of Dorian Gray in 1945 Herd Hatfield and Angela Lansbury and George Sanders as a devil's advocate. And the paintings were done by the Albright brothers. Ivan Albright did the painting, the corrupt one you see at the end. That's currently on display at the Art Institute in Chicago. Everyone should go down and check it out if you want a day of artwork down in Chicago. That's where that painting resides with a lot of other of Albright's paintings.
Very neat. Now you're an artist yourself. I think you sell your artwork at these events? Or?
I sell a lot of, I always like doing the black and white monster paintings.
Yeah.
And they've always been a big seller. Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, I'm always going to sell those paintings. And, because everybody loves those, and it's good practice to keep working on them. Even if you're doing the same thing, you get better at it. But I really go through my sessions with those paintings where I'm actually, the Universal monster films are playing in the studio while I'm painting.
Cool.
I mean, they're authentic. They come from the heart and from the right place.
Roosevelt Dolls. Let's hear about that. Are you guys performing anywhere? That
We're going to be at TG's on Halloween on October 31st, and they're going to do a roast of Dr. Destruction. They have Jim Namio, Frank Sinatra, David Kirby. He's going to do Elvis, and Laura Minetti, who's always been an incredible talent, even from I remember her from Parkside days.
Oh yeah. It's
back when I was in the medical university.
Yeah, it's absolutely a great time. How did that whole Roosevelt Dolls get started?
Well, I've been playing in bands since I was 18, so I carry a lot of songs with me and whatnot. And it just got to the point where it's just the latest version, I guess. But we got a great drummer, Chris DeHaven. Sherry Stauffer moved here from Chicago. She's a piano instructor that joined our rock band and adds an incredible dynamic to it. And then I've got Larry Torres playing bass for me again. Larry, I'll tell you what, you ain't gonna get no more old school punk rock in Kenosha than Larry and myself playing together. 40 years since we were kids. But that's not really, I wouldn't really necessarily say what we're doing right now is punk rock. It's got elements of goth and rock and roll and different things. And punk rock kind of was a era that ended a long time ago. I mean, people keep it going. I'm glad they have fun with that, but that's my personal experience is, by the time the 90s came around, it wasn't really the same anymore.
Speaking of government, with the election next year, will Dr. Destruction throw his hat in the mayoral
No,
race?
I don't think so.
Really?
No.
Oh.
Not even thinking about that stuff.
Not even thinking.
No, I've been kind of separated myself with that. I mean, now that politics has overcome Facebook and become such a crazy thing on social media, I really don't want anything to do with that. I'll start hiding posts or, I don't want to hear it anymore. It's just unbelievable, and Facebook kind of brings a psychosis out of people. I mean, opinions and whatnot. And do we really know? Do we really know what's going on with politics? Yeah. And considering all the stuff that I'm seeing, I don't want to know. That's that big time stuff. Yeah. I'm just a blockhead in a pumpkin patch. I really need all that.
Well, if you ever change your mind, come here and announce it.
I'll announce it officially here.
Okay, well, every year we always talk about Godzilla, and this past year was Godzilla King of the Monsters 2019. Well, what'd you think of it?
Nah.
No.
3 strikes, you're out. Which would actually be 4 if you count that pathetic King Kong movie they made. It's just they don't got it. I thought that Daughtery, since he directed Trick or Treat and did a great job with Krampus, I thought he'd do a good job. But I think it's something that should be just left the Japanese do it their way. And I can't believe they'd miss it. I mean, if I was given that opportunity, I wouldn't miss it. But I'm not a director that's going to get that kind of opportunity. I mean, maybe I could do a storyboard. But I really think it's something the Japanese to do. This Kong movie, I don't want to see that come out. Skull Island, they were people were convincing me to watch it. And it was a Saturday night. I think it's monster movie night. We just rented, have a good time. Halfway through, I turned it off. I was so mad, I turned my TV off and played records for the rest of the night.
Wow.
That's how much, no. And I went to Godzilla, King of the Monsters, and found myself like just, okay, I paid my money, I better wait till the end. And,
well, we'll see what happens if they're going to make Shin Godzilla 2.
For Shin Godzilla, that's a different thing. I recommend Shin Godzilla from 2016. Came out, played a little bit in the Tinseltown.
Yeah.
I give them perks for even playing it. That film is a masterpiece. That film won the equivalent of an Academy Award in Japan. It just works so great because right out of the ballpark for a 2-hour-long movie, you've got them developing the characters, the human characters, and Godzilla's character simultaneously. This is all happening. And just the little things in there that are just awesome. There's one scene sort of in a transformation where Godzilla stomps his foot down, and of course the train goes flying in the air, and the train lands on the ground, and you see it skid by, and the camera pans, and then the wheels have separated, so just the wheels come rolling up behind it. And I thought, that is genius. That little simple, any other director might not have did anything with that scene as far as the train, but that extra little bit made it so much more. Just little things like that. But it's real traditional, and it uses a whole bunch of Akira Ifukube's scores, and then it added a whole bunch of new music that complemented those.
Yes, and speaking of Godzilla King of the Monsters, the Kenosha Public Library Southwest is showing that on Halloween at 12:30 if you want to go check that out.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah. Maybe I'll cave it and go.
And now, do you know if that's the American version or if it's the Japanese one? No, that would probably have been called Gojira.
Not only that is going on Halloween, Thursday, October 31st, is Trick or Treating, which is from 4 to 8 p.m. in Kenosha. That's Thursday, October 31st. And Doctor, did you want to say any thing about Halloween?
If I see you people in your big SUVs speeding around trick-or-treaters, I'm going to pull you out of your car and I'm going to let you have it. How about that? Slow down.
Absolutely, I agree 100%. Have a fun, safe, happy Halloween. And again, let's plug your events coming up on Halloween.
All right, well, TG's is the big party with that I told you before. TG's, that's on October 31st, but it is $20 tickets. You get food and a first drink, and that's happening at TG's on the 31st. My party is happening November 2nd at 58 Below. I've got Amsdell. I've got Fiendish Phantoms, who also has Caretaker Collins, who's a horror host in the Madison area. He's in that band. And I've got Slaughter Party and Wretched Scrags with their very first appearance in a very long time. And, of course, my band, Roosevelt Dolls, will be there. And we're going to kick things off with a Mortuary Girls cast reunion showing.
Oh, excellent, excellent. So come on down to those events. Happy Halloween and safe trick-or-treating. Let's give a big round of applause to the one and only Dr. Destruction.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
And we'll be right back.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Okay, here we are at G-Fest in Rosemont, Illinois, and I'm with your name?
Stan Hyde.
Stan, what a great festival you guys put on. For those who haven't been to G-Fest, what is it?
Godzilla Fest. We are fans of Japanese science fiction movies, especially Godzilla and Gamera the Flying Turtle and Ultraman and all kinds of other old science and new science fiction movies, Mysterians and Battle in Outer Space, and movies by Ishiro Honda, and modern ones like the Gamera trilogy. So this weekend we have Shusuke Kaneko, who directed one Godzilla movie and 3 Gamera movies in the 90s. And we have the star of the original Godzilla movie in 1954. He's 86, I think, right now, Akira Takarada. So he's saying this will be his last one, because if he waits 4 years to come to another one, he'll be 90 by that time. So he might be beyond it, but it's really great to have him here too. And I run the model kit show and panels about how to build model kits. We have a Takuji Yamada, who's a really famous diorama builder in Japan, maybe one of the most famous model builders in the world. And he's been here to talk to people and do interviews and things too.
It's just a great turnout as well. So are people in this model room, do they vote on it, or how does that work?
Well, there's prizes that are given. There's judges, but there's also a People's Choice Award, so the people get to choose one and the judges get to choose one. And then there are some special categories as well for dioramas and standalone figures. And some of the work here is actually sculpted by people, so it's not just a model kit that they put together, but it's a figure that they've created. So.
You've been on panels as well, or do you have panels this week?
I have a lot of panels that I do as well. Besides, my main interest is model kits and how to build model kits, how to paint model kits, and teaching people how to do that. But I'm also a big fan of stuff, so I do some panels on vintage Japanese art, and I've done some interviews with various people who are, directors and stuff, and do a sing-along on Sunday, because most of the old movies from the 60s had musical numbers, either dances or songs, and so we do about an hour and a half of, it's called Kaiju Confessions, but it's sort of mass karaoke. It's sort of a room of people singing songs from the old movies.
So I got to ask you then, why has Godzilla lasted this long? It's even bigger now than with these new movies coming out. What's the fascination about it?
I think Godzilla does what he wants. Nobody tells him when to go to bed or brush his teeth. I think when you're a little kid, I have a 3.5-year-old grandson, and I'm Godzilla obsessed, so he was exposed to it quickly, but he seems to be enjoying it, And it's like we have a monster battle with our, toy monsters for the Monster City, and it's a way to kind of, lose some stress, enjoy things, not take it too seriously, but there's still kind of a message behind it. I mean, even the newest one, like Godzilla King of the Monsters, there's this idea that maybe mankind is destroying the earth, and if you go back to the beginning, it's like, oh, Godzilla's like a nuclear weapon. If we keep doing this, we're like the dinosaurs. If we keep doing this, we'll be the dinosaurs. So there's kind of a serious message too.
And I gotta ask you, what's your favorite Godzilla movie if you had to choose?
Okay, well, my favorite's my first Godzilla movie, and that's King Kong vs. Godzilla, which I saw when I was like 7 years old. And so, of course, the sequel to the one that's out this year has already been shot. So next year we got Godzilla versus King Kong. So it's kind of coming full circle for me. I'm kind of getting nervous about that. It's like, this is my first one, and we're ending up with that. I'm sure I'll be okay.
I could make a meal just of the bread. I could do a whole meal, just nothing but bread.
And if anybody would want more information about G-Fest, is there a website?
Yeah, there's a Facebook site. It's just G-Fest. And there is a website, because there's also a magazine. J.D. Lease, who kind of is the head honcho here, he publishes a magazine that is called G-Fan. So there is a www.gfan.com, and that has information on the magazine and the convention. So if people want to find out more, they can check out there.
Well, once again, this is just an excellent convention. Great display here as well, and thank you so much for talking with us today.
Thank you.
Okay, here we are at G-Fest in Rosemont, Illinois, and I'm with your names.
Michael Clary.
Will Offitz.
Okay, and we just got out of a panel discussion. What was the panel discussion about?
The home video situation for the Godzilla movies in North America is very confusing. There are a lot of out-of-print movies, a lot of different distributors. We wanted to do a panel that would sort of clarify the situation, tell people what the best releases were and what's on them.
So what's the release that people are looking for?
Well, I think what a lot of people are really anticipating is the long-rumored potential Criterion box set of the Showa Godzilla series. That's not officially confirmed yet, but there's significant evidence to suggest that that's going on. In addition to what's already, in addition to that, in terms of what's already out there, you have a lot of things that have gone out of print and become very expensive, including fan favorites like Destroy All Monsters, some like Godzilla vs. Megalon, a whole lot of different things out there that people are looking for and have become a bit scarce in recent years.
So what qualifications do you have to be on this panel? Are you guys distributors yourselves or just fans?
We asked. That's our qualifications, more or less. We asked, and we talk about this stuff ad nauseum online. But yeah, no, it was basically just something we thought would be a helpful thing to do for people who are just now getting into it, thanks to like King of the Monsters. I believe we have like the highest attendance here of any year for G-Fest so far.
Pre-registration record, at least.
Yes.
Really? Wow. Let's talk about that. For those who haven't been to G-Fest, why is it so big as it is?
Since 2013, there's been a huge spike in Hollywood making their own kaiju films, which we really haven't seen this many monster movies out of Hollywood since the 1950s, I would say, and Japan is following suit with Godzilla movies and other kaiju movies of their own.
Yeah, and so it's become like we've kind of called it a kaiju renaissance a lot in the fandom, or at least in the circles we move in. But yeah, no, it's been a great and wonderful and interesting time to be a kaiju fan, and a lot of new people are getting into it as a result. And so you see a lot of new faces around here, a lot of new people showing up, and it's very exciting.
And your favorite Godzilla movie?
Godzilla vs. Biollante.
Godzilla against Mechagodzilla, for sure.
Well, thank you so much for putting on a panel discussion. Thanks so much for participating in G-Fest, and enjoy the rest of the festival. Okay, here we are at G-Fest in Rosemont, Illinois. We just got out of a great panel discussion on Ready Player One. And what's your name?
Billy DeBose.
And Billy, what was that session all about today?
It was all about Ernest Cline's Ready Player One book, which was also directed by Steven Spielberg for the film.
Now, did you see the read the book first or see the movie? Or?
I had read the book first, and then I actually listened to the audiobook read by Will Wheaton of Stand By Me, and then I saw the movie.
And what's so special about the book and the movie of the message?
The message in both the book and the film, I believe just as strong as each other, was basically about overuse of technology, how much we use it, how much we don't realize we use it, and that even if given the greatest incentive to use it, we just let it consume us. And how we need to every now and then have a reminder and a heads up, hey, there's a more beautiful world out there that we could be discovering, for ourselves.
Now, what does this panel discussion have to do with G-Fest?
What it has to do with G-Fest is the Easter egg nods and mentions of kaiju and tokusatsu.
Mechagodzilla!
To be in G-Fest, what's one of your favorite Godzilla movies?
Oh, that's a tough one. There's so many. The first one I ever saw was King Kong vs. Godzilla. One of my favorites growing up, probably Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 74. Although now, man, it's a toss-up. Final Wars is a favorite. The new King of the Monsters is a favorite. Even nothing's going to beat the original 54 version. But, I'm all over the place with it.
And then it's kind of neat seeing this resurgence of Godzilla with the new ones that are coming out too as well. Do you see that in the festival, that more people are coming out for?
Yes, it is to the point where the air conditioning can't even handle all of us in the hotel here.
Right, exactly. Well, we thank you so much for, again, putting out the panel on Ready Player One. Great book, great movie, and G-Fest, which is a great convention. And thank you so much for talking with us today.
Thank you very much, Jason.
Okay, here we are at G-Fest in Rosemont, Illinois. Great event today, and I'm with your name?
I'm Peggy Neal.
Jay Johnson.
Great to have you both here today. Peggy, who's a guest of honor, we thank you so much for coming to this event today. Maybe for those who don't know, what movie were you in for?
I was in Terror Beneath the Sea, X from Outer Space, something in Las Vegas and Boys of Company C.
Now, the Terror Beneath the Sea, how was it being in that film?
Oh, I was 17 years old. I thought I was going to be an archaeologist. It changed my world.
And now the X from Outer Space, was that, now that was shot in Japan. Were you living out in Japan at the time?
Yes, I was. I went to Japan when I was first about 1.5 years old and came back later, finished high school, and did college at Sophia University.
So then how did you know somebody on the set, or how did that work out?
I started modeling when I was about 2 years old. My mother was a model, and they did this big, over life-size poster of me that got stolen. They put it out one night and it was gone the next. And apparently the studio picked it up, called my modeling agency, and offered me a part. I said, couldn't I do a little one? And they said, no. And so I said, well, okay.
They give you the main part.
Sonny was part of the reason.
Sonny? Okay.
Sonny is the nicest, kindest person. He made acting very easy for me. And my director was amazing.
What did you think of it when the film was all done? You were watching on the big screen.
I did never. A lot of actors don't watch themselves. Yeah. So some of my movies I'm seeing for the first time.
Well, they played it, I know, Thursday night. It was just an absolutely amazing film. Jay, now what's your involvement here at G-Fest?
I'm the resident gopher. I do it all. If they need it done, I'm the guy in charge of putting things on top of other things.
Well,
Jay is a major artist. He plays music all around the world. He comes from a musical family, and he doesn't give himself credit for being the artist and synchronizer that he is.
So do you perform in the Chicago area?
All in Europe now. Mostly Europe. Yep.
Do you have like a website people could get your music, or
www.skinnymollyrocks.com. Name of the band.
check it out? What do you think of the event today here at G-Fest?
Oh, I'm loving the people. This is like coming home for me.
Absolutely. Well, I got to take her to her screening of Terror Beneath the Sea, myself and our friend Avery, and I just sat there the whole time. I'm in the movie with the star of the movie. I'm watching the movie. It's great. So it was a cool fan moment.
And for you, Peggy, is there any upcoming things we can see yet, or are you still acting or not?
I'm just starting again. It's very strange, but I'm really hoping you say the Great Buddha Arrives.
Okay.
And that I did a part in that I'm so proud of. It's very conscious, it's very aware, it's very Buddhist, very me.
Definitely have to check that out. Well, once again, Peggy, we thank you so much for coming, and thank you, Jay, for your participation in this event. Great event at G-Fest, and thanks so much for talking with us today.
Thank you.